I don't know how like deep to go. I think like...
Go deep, we like deep.
I know,
No,
yeah.
deep is great.
Yes, what's going on? My name is DJ Ace and we are here at Spotify spotlighting the R&B sounds of the UK, and I have an awesome panel with me today here absolutely representing the sounds of R&B in the UK. We have got the legend himself, Craig David.
Thank you, brother.
The amazing Tiana Major9. And we have got Miss Mahalia in
Hello.
the building. This is gonna be an amazing conversation. I cannot wait. So let's just start, man. R&B. Tell us about the moment you discovered R&B, Craig David.
Oh, for me, wow. I remember, I love slow jams. So let's set the tone. So, like if I'm hearing Grateful, one of them kind of tunes, I hit me differently. But I grew up and I was listening to, I don't know, Joe. I mean, we're talking like, what's 1995, 96. So we got Joe with Table for Two. Not even necessarily the Stutter and all those kind of tunes. It was those kind of slow jams. Men of Vision back in the day.
I got it.
Early Usher would like Think of You, them kind of tunes.
First Usher album.
It was heavily like American R&B at the time that I was listening to. I just liked the tempo of it, and this was way before like I even got into sort of the garage thing. So for me, R&B slow jams, whenever I approached to say do a garage tune, it was actually a slow jam.
Okay.
So it always would be a song, and then you just make it double time and you're in the garage mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had good times, man. Those 90s, that was I don't want to say golden era because I think that's a bit of a myth that everyone has their.
Yeah.
But it was a good time for the variety of different sounds that were going on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Tiana, what about you? When did you first discover this music?
Oh, I can't pinpoint it, but I know it was always just playing like in my mum's house, family gatherings. So I think maybe around like age 5, I became like aware of like what was actually happening musically. So yeah, I would say age 5.
5 years old.
Love that.
Yeah, because then I started singing it back. Like I
Okay.
started listening to like what Beyonce was doing in Destiny Child and like, yeah, Lauryn Hill.
What about you, Mahalia?
I was probably actually a bit later. As a kid, I think I was obsessed with music from really young, but I think it was more so because my parents played themselves. My dad played the guitar,
Right.
my mum sang. My mum has a very kind of naturally jazzy way of singing. She's got a very deep, beautiful voice. And my dad, I suppose, was kind of more in the like, well, he would call it so he calls it psychoacoustic soul, which is what he always called my music. And I suppose from that's kind of how I found acoustic soul. So for me, I think I was probably about 7 or 8 when I started making dances to India Irie in my mum's bedroom, because she had this like wall of mirrors that was like exactly where I needed my stage to be. But I think actually the people that kind of came to me always came through my mum. And my mum used to play this game with me, which was Guess the Singer.
Okay.
And it was always female vocalists, and she would, she would go on the turntable and play different records, and we'd go through and I'd have to get the singers right. So I think that's probably when I would have started really, again, being aware of what I was listening to. And I think I was probably about 7 or 8. And I think for me, at that age, the biggest one for me was Tweet.
Okay.
Yeah. Southern Hummingbird was like all I listened to for like 1 year.
I mean,
I love that.
We've all mentioned some names here, like we mentioned Joe and Beyonce, Tweet, India Irie. These are all American names, obviously. Like, at what point did you guys, as artists from the UK, well, you weren't even artists at that time. When you first heard music, I don't know if you was an artist yet, but when did you realize, oh, this is something I actually want to do? And even though I'm inspired by these Americans, I'm here in the UK, this is something that I want to take on as well. When did that first happen for you, Craig?
Do you know what I mean? I don't know if any of you remember when Trevor Nelson was doing the lick.
The Lick, MTV Bass. Shout out to Trevor.
Sherwin, the crew. I mean,
Shout out
that
to
was
Sherwin.
the go-to place for R&B in terms of being on TV. And then there was like Touch and Blues and Soul and those magazines that we all used to love, and you'd have to go to the back to find what promos were on release at Solar Records or Red Records in Brixton or wherever, right? I think it was like in and around that time of me listening to those songs, and I was making mixtapes. I wrote this song called I'm Ready and I sent it off as a competition for a group called Damage in the UK.
Salute to Damage.
Big tune, Get a Romance.
Yeah.
For Nat, at the time they had a song called Wonderful Tonight. They were doing the cover of Eric Clapton's cover.
Yeah.
Went in for the competition, didn't think anything of it, wrote the song called I'm Ready, got the call back saying that I won this competition. I was like gassed. And
Wait, you was writing it for them?
So it was for the B side of their next single.
Oh, okay.
So their single was going to be Wonderful Tonight as an A side.
Right.
And the B side was going to be whoever won this competition. So I wrote I'm Ready, sent it off, recorded it on some. Back in the day, I had to use the twin tape cassette deck, and I had this microphone. It's called Studio 100, massive box, looked like the old school TVs. And I'm singing a little one vocal, and I put the tape in the bottom, put a new one in, do a little BV, and then I take that one and put it back. It was mad. The quality was so wild by the time they got to them. So anyway, they came back, said, I won the competition. They asked if I'd like to come up to London to actually sing some BVs on the track, which is an honour. I mean, this is Damage, yeah. And then the song ended up, the Wonderful Tonight went to #3 in the charts, big selling song. I went into Virgin Megastore, like, oh my God. And it said on the back, B-side written by Craig David, competition. And I'm gassing up my mates like, yeah, look, man's got #3 in the charts. But that moment, I think, was the moment where I was like, you know what, maybe there's something in this for me. The fact that they asked me to come and do BVs was enough of an opening of like, well, if Damage saying I've got a voice of some sorts, then maybe I can do this. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Tiana? When was the first time you realised, you know what, this is something that I could do full time and make it my career?
When was the first time? I think for me, I started in church. So actually like seeing people sing regularly was my real introduction to like just music and R&B as well. I mean, gospel and R&B, there's crossovers there. But I think, yeah, from church, there was like church celebrities, like people that were like singing every week and people looked up to those singers. Yeah, that was the first time I was like, oh, I think I could do this. And then I saw those types of voices on like MTV. Again, hearing voices like Lauryn Hill, Beyonce, getting into D'Angelo, it just made me realize, oh, okay, you can take gospel sounds and then make it into this R&B thing. And
I love that.
Yeah.
Did you like Kim Burrell and
I did.
or Kelly Price in that era as well?
You know what? I got into them as I grew older, but I used to love like Kiara Sheard and like Clark Sisters and Yolanda Adams and very gospel. So
I hear a lot of people saying that church is missing from R&B today. How do you feel about that?
I hear that. Yeah. I do hear that. I think church was a real like playground to just practice and just have fun, build like music community as well, like actually meet musicians and play with them regularly, work on harmonies, and also just build stage confidence as well.
I actually was always really jealous of that. Like when I came to London, because I didn't really grow up in the church, but when I came to London and I started like working with musicians and other artists and seeing how everybody knew each other, I was so jealous of that.
Yeah, I see people now, I'm like, oh my God, we actually went to church together.
Yeah.
That's blessed.
Yeah, there's a few artists that I'm like, we actually grew up in the church together. So.
Yeah.
And Mahalia, when did the light bulb come off for you and you was like, yeah, this is something I want to do full time. This is gonna be what I do in life.
I was really young. I was like 11.
Okay.
I started playing the guitar. I actually started playing the guitar because I was copying my brother. So my brother started playing the guitar, and so I'm one of 4, and I've got 3 brothers, 2 older, and all of my loves in life came from copying them. So like my eldest brother was a dancer, so I went to his dance school, and then my next brother wanted to play the guitar, so I wanted to play the guitar. And it just so happened that I like fell in love with it. And like the idea that I could make sounds with my hands, I think is what kind of started the love of it for me. And then it was poetry. So at first I was speaking over the chords, and then I started singing. But I never really saw myself as a singer, actually, when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, like I didn't really sing like that. Like I think if I'd have had something like church or somewhere to sing in that way, I maybe would have been more confident with it. It was more so in the bathroom, or like in my room quietly. But I think 11 was when it like started for me.
I want to know if any of the UK street sounds influenced you. I mean, growing up, we heard grime, we had UK garage, we had jungle, we've got road rap, we've got Afro. So these are all UK sounds that have inspired us all. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how did they inspire you guys in regards to what you do?
It's interesting actually, because my answer's probably not that great and won't get me any street cred, but I missed it.
You missed the whole thing?
Yeah, like where I, for context, like I grew up in a really, really tiny little rural town called Syston in Leicester. So really and truly what was being played in like the changing rooms at like PE was all indie music. So actually I grew up on like the Kooks and Arctic Monkeys and all the local indie bands. That's what I kind of, my whole life kind of listened to. So everything else I had to find later. Even when I moved to London at 17 and I started even just like, you know, like maybe going to carnival or like going out more or going to dance, that's really when I started listening to like dancehall.
I heard that.
Yeah, like there's a lot of incredible music that I found later, and like even I'm trying to think like I remember when I was like 16, my brother was a part of a rap group in Leicester called BLG, and like they would put on these nights that were like Don't Flop.
Okay.
So that's kind of more the scene
Rap
that I grew
battling.
up in. Yeah, like
okay.
battle rap and like, but then also like spoken word. It was everything that we found, we kind of had to find on our own. It wasn't prominent. Nobody was talking about it. So actually, I feel like I've had to do a lot of learning as an adult.
Okay.
Which isn't as fun and not as fun answer to give.
I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit jealous. Like, if I heard
Really?
like Pow for the first time last week, I'd be going nuts. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're getting to rediscover this music as an adult or like a little bit older.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I feel that.
I feel like I started to listen to grime as I got older. I would hear it in school, obviously, but
Wow. Just like hearing that in school with these fab.
yeah, just boys just rapping and like just people sending songs to each other.
Yeah.
I remember one of the songs that I just was obsessed with was Plan B, Charmaine.
Oh my gosh. To be fair, actually, me
Like
too.
a time, like
Me too.
that was a time. But yeah, I think
Oh my God.
in school I definitely learned how to write because I wanted to rap with the lot that were rapping after school. And I just started getting into what was current at that time, and it was a lot of like BBK and again Plan B, their names.
A question for you, Mahalia. I think like integrity is really important to you. We've had loads of different conversations. I think from the outside, it looks like, well, not that it looks, I don't know, you guys can tell me if this is right or wrong. You could go and make a very popular record easily. You could just grab onto what's popular at the moment and do something similar and have, I don't know how it works, you could have a top 5 record. Why is it so important to stay true to what you do rather than chasing that sound that is popular at the moment?
I think because my fundamental aim day to day probably is happiness, and if I ever feel like I'm off the road that I like built for myself, I find myself kind of mentally falling, and I think the reason why integrity has always been important to me, I think, is just because if I don't kind of stay totally centered and with myself, I don't really know who I am. And I can get, I think I can get lost easily. And I think in moments in my life, whether that be on a personal level or a professional one, I have felt that sense of losing myself. And I've had to either go away or like go home and spend time with family to drag myself back. Legacy is a really important word to me. It's become more important as I've lost kind of some of my older family and some of my grandparents. And I think for me, it's about what I want to leave behind and also what I want to give to my future kids. And I want to know that every record I put out, even if I don't love it anymore, at that moment in time, that felt like the right thing for who I was in that moment. So for me, it's about what I leave behind.
Is there ever a pressure from the label or the people upstairs?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, always.
Can we talk about it? I mean,
Yeah, of course we can.
I mean, is there pressure to adjust your sound or go out of your way to make it a little bit more broader or more mainstream? Tiana, you were in a major label situation.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. When I first started as Tiana Major9, I was coming out of college and I was just gigging. I was doing every show that was available in London. I feel like I've done every venue in East. But yeah, any show that was available, I was doing that. And at that time, my sound was a little bit more on the singer-songwriter, jazz fusion side. And then I got signed, which was a blessing, definitely a blessing. But I got signed in America, and their understanding of R&B and jazz fusion and my sound went all the way to the R&B side, which was cool. Made some of my best music there, but I feel like there was definitely that pressure to just be straight R&B. Okay. And I feel like my sound, if you listen to my catalogue in a whole, it's not like middle of the road R&B. There's a lot of influences from everywhere. And yeah, I think that was definitely label pressure.
I think it's also important to like recognize that like the thread is you. Like I remember, and like that's kind of, I think for me, like where I used to maybe get frustrated with my label was like I'd make a project or an album and then they would go, well what's the thread, you know? And I'd be like, me? Like, what do you mean? Yeah, like whether it be my tone or my lyrics or like the way that I narrate this story, like the thread is me.
I think for me, I was really blessed in the way that it started off for me, because I started off as like DJing and MCing, so I was in the clubs. Like, this is why I've got so much respect for yourself, my man, because, and especially them times, songs were out for like 6 months before they were even getting like released. So you got a feel on a record. Like, even then, a record company who'd signed an artist, put a song out, could test it for 6 months.
What are the trends at the moment then? What are people following?
Well, musically, I interesting, because I had this conversation with my brother a few days ago, because I think what's kind of, I suppose, trending, or what people are, maybe not even trending, but what it seems like consumers, wow, that's weird calling them that, listeners, music lovers, wow. God, am I ain't on?
It came through, let it through, bless it.
What it feels like music lovers are kind of seeing, and also especially the younger gen, my brother calls it brutal honesty, or like, no he didn't, or like brutal, or like beautiful truth. We're finding these artists that are coming through that are really taking kind of center stage for kind of saying whatever they want on record. And I'm really loving that. I think that we kind of had an entrance to that properly with someone like SZA, who was kind of saying everything that we're not supposed to say, especially as young women on record. And I think girls are falling in love with that. I think that there are lots of incredible artists that are coming through and giving us these stories of their lives that feel unfiltered. And there's an unfilteredness that I think is slightly a trend, but it's quite a nice one.
I think a lot of artists go into music, and a lot of artists from the UK, their dream is to break America. And all of you have had different experiences in America. I'd love to hear what it was like in the early noughties when you first went over to the States, Craig. What was that like for you?
Brother, you know like, any of you seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, yeah? You know when Charlie finally gets the ticket? He's gassed, yeah, right. But then when you go into the place, you're just like, this is, wow, what's happened here? So at the time, right, to Film Me in 7 Days are doing their thing. Born to Do It's just dropped, I think, at the time. Oh no, it was a year later, so the songs were already doing their thing. When I went over and I played in LA at the House of Blues, and we were doing 3 nights there, and I was just like, wow, it's the House of Blues, and then you're LA, Sunset Strip, and you're just, oh my God. And I've got to say, like, this for me, if this could be my Breaking America, yeah, I was cool. I was ready to go back to Southampton, could go back to TK Maxx, put on my little outfit, do my thing, sell some double glazed windows on the thing like I was doing, or telecanvassing, crazy. Don't do telecanvassing, yes, crazy. Try to sell those windows. You'll learn quickly about yourself when a person's like, yo, humble you quick. So I'm there, first night, I walk out, and there's Missy Elliott and Jennifer Lopez on the balcony watching a man perform.
Wow, mad.
I was in awe of what was going on. I mean, this is the time when this is current, like Jenny from the Block stuff ringing off, and you've got like Missy with Rain and all those kind of tunes happening. I was like, wow, I can't get any better than this. Following night, wow, Queen Bee herself, Beyonce's there up on the balcony watching man perform. I'm like, this is mad. I've got the writings on the wall at home. The poster's still up, you know, it's there, it's written. I was like, man, that was wild, that one for me, yeah. Then the following night, I'm performing, I'm singing, walking away, and I look in the crowd, and I can see there's a bit of like, people are looking at this one in particular person, and I thought, it must be someone, maybe it's an actor or someone, isn't it? The front of house lights go up, and I'm looking, I'm singing, I'm walking away, and I look over at Stevie Wonder.
I knew you was gonna sing. I knew it. I knew it.
Man like
I was
Stevie,
just waiting
yeah?
for
All
that. Because that's who you get gassed.
I had to remember that to still sing the song, yeah, because I'm just like, this is Stevie Wonder.
I think when I went on Soul Train Awards, that was the real moment for me where I was like, oh, I'm actually here doing the thing in America. It felt easy. Specifically because of the Queen and Slim soundtrack that I was on. It just catapulted me and placed me in
That space.
Yeah, in the space where I needed to be. So I would say that song definitely made it easy for me to break America.
For me, it was about live and about touring. I think because I was the same as you, where I like went from when I could stand with a guitar and like plug it in and play, I was playing everywhere. Yeah. And I was in Leicester, I was in Birmingham. I did come to London a little bit, but couldn't really figure out the scene. So I was mostly in the Midlands. But so for me, it was just about being able to play shows. And I remember I'd done the LMA support tour, which was like amazing, but like that crowd like really didn't like me. And I realized that at the time I was probably a bit too chatty patty for that crowd. It was a slightly older R&B crowd. And I jump around, I like say really silly stuff. I probably at that point was swearing more than I do now. Like I was just a bit sillier. So I didn't have a great time actually on that tour. So I was kind of a little bit like, I don't think I can do this in America. And then Sober happened. And then I did a 7-week sold out tour.
Wow.
Crazy.
Brilliant.
What was it like being in America as a UK artist? I know what it's like as a DJ. And as soon as I open my mouth, like, doors open, let's just be honest. The accent helps. Like, what is it like as a creative, as a musician, when you get to the States?
There is that little bit of fascination with like, oh, like, you're black, but you're from London, you speak like this, which does help to get you through certain doors and in certain conversations. But I do feel like there is that challenge of like telling your story as someone that's from here, that also loves R&B, to someone in America that is from there that loves R&B. It's a slightly different story. So yeah, I think that's a little bit of a challenge.
I was quite nervous. Again, I think I was nervous because I wasn't the R&B head kid, so I didn't have all the knowledge. And I think there were quite a few times where I got tripped up in interviews on like knowledge about certain artists or like certain albums that maybe I just genuinely wasn't aware of or hadn't heard. So I think I was always nervous when I was younger, and then as I got older, I just let go of that. I think that however you came to be is however you came to be. But I was always nervous, I think, being in certain conversations, just in case I didn't know. But then I got over it, and then I really enjoyed it.
The fact that you've used your platforms for to help elevate scenes. That Buy British jumper was a moment at the MOBO Awards.
Appreciate you.
Like just 2 words that meant everything to everybody in the room.
Thank you.
And then we got the BRIT Awards red carpet, the coat, long live R&B, and just having that coat, like, and that jumper. Why was it so important to on those moments to share those messages? I mean, MOBO Awards huge, loads of people watching. The BRIT Awards, like, why use those moments to for I don't want to say protest, but I guess for activism for your scenes?
Man, I mean, first let me say Nigel Melville, who's the stylist at the time, like, he presented that jumper, and we had different things going on. He presented, I said, I need this. Personally, I was just like, this is just...
What did it mean to you? Like, when you saw it, what did that Buy British mean?
Do you know what? It was funny because, like, having spoken earlier about how I was so into like the import or the export from America to here of US R&B, and then the garage thing was having its moment, the album's out. And the MOBOs was after the BRIT Awards. So I've been nominated for 6 at the BRIT Awards, and we all know the
big
story there,
where-
which was wild, yeah, because it was actually more wild to not win any when like I couldn't have had any
For
bigger
those that don't know,
album.
Craig had the biggest year. How many records did you sell that year?
I had like, we were like doing 7 million albums, and it was like number one, so it
everywhere,
was crazy.
And they didn't give him one BRIT Award.
Yes,
It was a
we
bit.
were
Actually,
pissed.
man.
The scene felt.
We were pissed.
I could feel
we
it.
were vexed.
I could feel
Yeah,
it from
we
the
were
scene,
vexed.
and it was like, when I was a young kid, it was just like, wow, okay, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
From the time the man was in the front of the sun, I was like, there must be something there. But you got to remember, I'm still very young. It's all very new to me, all this stuff. I'm just like, wow, that's on the front of the sun, and it's talking about like being nominated. Like the day before, they got like the little leak of like. I was like, okay, so I guess we're not winning anything, but I'm performing that night. I was doing Fill Me In, and I did this sort of like little rap at the end. There's like 6 nominations, no BRIT for CD. Had to just let them know that I did hear what was going on there. But what that jumper meant, because the MOBOs was like, I think I came away with 3 MOBOs that night, and it was a real celebration because it's changed for me, accolades now. I think back in the day it was like, to win an award is everything, and I would never take that away from an aspiring artist to win awards. It's beautiful, right? It's a celebration. But now I see the songs that have currency and they live in your hearts for years, and the legacy you talked about earlier, that's the real win.
Long live R&B.
Yeah.
Like, again,
I love it.
It was all over the papers. Like that jacket was famous coat, boy.
It's in my wardrobe.
What made you put that on that day for that
Well, I
award
was
show?
pissed.
Okay.
I was very angry that year. I think all of us were. I think you tweeted as well.
I think
we
so.
tweeted same time.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because that was the year where the genre categories at the Brits had come up, and the genre categories how I say it really simply is that they were just mushed. So I think pop had been put with R&B. I think it was like pop and R&B category, hip hop and grime category, rock and like it was all the genre categories. Now, first of all, genre categories annoy me anyway because of what we were talking about earlier. My second point, I think where I got frustrated again was that they were fan voted. Now, when we get into fan voting, for me, I think that's when we're in dangerous waters when it comes to talking about art, because now we're only talking about a popularity contest. And in this day and age where we're talking about Instagram, which I think at the time was how you voted, now you're talking about followers and how many followers somebody has. That is really frustrating, because I think that a lot of us, in order to keep our mental okay, we try and not measure our success like that, and we try and not think about that. So I wasn't going to attend. I wasn't nominated, I wasn't going to attend, but I decided I was going to go, and the kind of idea for the coat came up really quickly. That year, Sloan, who's an amazing, amazing young artist, was the designer of the award.
Okay.
So we decided that it would make sense to go for a quintessentially British brand, and so I went and bought a Burberry trench, and then I took it to Sloan to paint on it. And I think for me, having the guy that designed the BRIT paint the words on the jacket just felt really powerful. Then came the conversations with the label, and I don't even know how they found out that I was wearing it, because we kept it really quiet.
Oh, they weren't happy about that?
They weren't.
Okay.
The wording was important to me. I didn't want it to be a stab at the Brit, because it was also bigger than that. It wasn't just about the Brits. It was really about the country as a whole and how the music industry looks at it. So Long Live R&B to me was about legacy and not about hitting it at anyone.
It's so courageous and bold of you. Like, let's be straight. Like, to take that moment to say something that, like you said, was bigger than an award ceremony,
Yeah.
about the state of music, which you can be a voice of because there's something you're representing, and to be that bold and courageous, I just got nothing but love for you, because it's those moments that change the paradigm and swings the needle.
Being that there is an R&B award at the Brits now, as somebody that's in the scene, Tiana, how did that make you feel when you realised that the Brits were going to actually recognise R&B as a category?
How did that make me feel?
Were you excited, like, yo, I could get this one day, or was that, or did you feel like it still wasn't achievable?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lack of visibility for R&B artists in the UK in general, specifically dark-skinned R&B artists too, like myself. But yeah, I think the lack of representation and lack of like push doesn't make it feel like it's achievable to even like, yeah.
It's interesting that you felt that, because I've been nominated for 3 Brits and I felt that too. There has been a lack of understanding our privilege in this industry. We have talked about this actually. I talk about this a lot with Jazz. And
shout out to Jazz Caris.
Shout out to Jazz Caris. But like, I know that like I am extremely palatable to a lot of the label execs that maybe I've dealt with over the years, or maybe I'm still dealing with now, and that is because of the colour of my skin. It's because of lots of things. What's really important, aside from the industry changing, for me is conversations like this, and I think it's about people who look like me being involved in the conversation, because I think over the years, I think watching other lighter-skinned female artists shy away from having the conversation about colorism, having the conversation about how their privilege benefits them, I think it's very unhelpful. And I think it's unhelpful to our peers who are part of what we do.
To break through, we've got to have change as opposed to trying to necessarily keep banging on the same doors to get the change there.
Right.
That's the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, that's kind of over a few years in it, I'm like, I feel for artists, because I'm like, you know what? Or what your value system is, what is it you're looking for? Because if you say, I don't even need the accolade, like we're saying, you don't need to rock up and turn up to anything. You just do your music and it's here. Now all of a sudden you ain't even worrying about like fan votes or even that. You've moved it even one further. But if you want to be invested of change for that organisation, it may take a little time. You may have to really invest and get a little knock back and be like frustrated and go again.
I feel you. I think that's where I'm at right now too. Like, I'm not really focused on the awards stuff. I mean, it's nice to have awards and like be recognised in that way, but I think my own journey is gonna look a little bit different. I might have to like, I know I'm gonna have to create my own thing, and then that's when the eyes come back. Like, look at artists like Victoria Monet.
Yeah.
Who else? Oh my God, I'm blanking.
Money Long, like behind the scenes.
Yeah, like they,
Leon Thomas.
they
behind the scenes. And
they did their thing for a while, and when it started to blow up, that's when the awards started to come back. But I think it's important to definitely touch on the conversation.
Guys, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you very much, Craig.
Thank you.
Tiana Major9.
Thank you.
And Mahalia. That was absolutely awesome.
Brilliant. Wow, what a team.
That was fun.